Hello everyone, PleaseDontCry2 here with you, bringing you another wonderful Battlefield Hardline video. Thank you all so much for coming by and checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. In this video, what I'm going to be covering is how you can get the best connection possible in Battlefield Hardline, and really the best way you can get the best connection is to make sure that you're in the right region, and to do that, well, you want to go ahead and use server browser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through server browser with you, both in the traditional sense of just server browser, and then also go through it on squad join and show you guys how to do both of those. So stick around for all that I'm bringing you right now. Typically people are going to go ahead and use quick match. Now quick match is great if you're just trying to jump into something, but to be honest with you, I never use quick match because it doesn't think about what server or what region that you're in, so it's just going to put you in whatever server that it wants to put you in, whatever there's a spot available for that particular game. I mean, if we go into quick match here, we have the availability to choose whatever we want, Conquest Large, and then our map pack over to the side there. But it doesn't tell you which region, so it's just going to put you in whatever. So server browser is going to get you the best connection on Battlefield Hardline. So what I'm going to do for you here is I'm going to go through server browser and show you how all this works. Now once we jump into server browser here, you see we have the browse feature. Now what the browse is actually going to show us is when we have our filter edited, it's going to show, if I go back to the browse feature, it's going to show all the stuff that's underneath that. So I don't have anything in my mode section clicked on here. So let's say if I wanted to do a team deathmatch, okay, and then I would go ahead and select that particular mode. I come back over to here and it's going to show me all of the team deathmatch. You'll see over here we have the player section. All right, so 64 out of 64. You can go ahead and edit filter, and all the buttons are going to be down there at the bottom. So I'm going to press R3 on PS3 and then go ahead and change this. I have it to all, just because typically on Battlefield Hardline, unfortunately, there's not really that many servers. And then we have the server type here. We have official, and then we have ranked. Okay, official servers are going to be the ones that are straight from Visceral. They're going to have the standard map rotation. Ranked is when you have a ranked match, which basically means the stats are still going to be tracked and all that stuff, but the map rotation might be different. Like, let's say they had the vanilla maps, but then the person that was playing on Conquest Large, that had the server, decided to take out the block. Or if they wanted to do a 24/7 of a certain map, those types of things, those would be ranked, where the stats are still, you know, being added up, going on to Battlelog, going on to bfhstats.com, things like that. Then you have your unranked, which is, you know, pretty standard. What that is, that's basically the same thing as I was talking about with ranked, but without actually having the stats there. So this might be something if you're practicing or doing whatever. I've never gone to unranked because I find it useless. And then we have private. So this would be if you had, you know, a server and then you wanted to make it so that way people had to have a certain password to go ahead and get in. But obviously, if you are looking for a private, I would typically go over to browse, and I'll show you guys that here in a second. Then we have our preset. Our preset, we have normal, hardcore, and performance. Normal is going to be what you typically see, where you have a mini-map and things like that. I'm not going to go through all of what normal mode is, but there's that. And then there's hardcore, which is the mode in which, you know, you don't have the mini-map, you know, there's no kill cam, things like that. And then performance, what performance servers are is they are a 60 hertz run server. Now you don't see it a lot ran because a lot of people don't really know that the performance servers exist. Plus, for some reason, they don't, you know, a lot of people use quick match, and so they don't actually look for the particular servers and look and see what hertz the server is running at, because typically they're running at 30 hertz, which is 30 frames per second. 60 hertz would be 60 frames per second. So there are servers available that you can actually run at 60 frames per second, but the thing is, not a lot of people are on them. Now what will happen is the 64 player amount will actually get cut in half to be 32, or I'm sorry, 16 on 16, so it'll be 32 altogether instead of your standard 64. So even on a Conquest Large server, you're still going to have 16 on 16. But you will have that 60 hertz or 60 frames per second availability, so that way you can have a much better resolution. I have had a chance to go ahead and play on it, and even playing across region, the connection is way better. So if you do have the chance to go on a performance server, make sure you guys check out that. It is awesome. So anyway, we have next our region. So depending on where you are, whether you're in the United States, you're in Europe, Asia, Australia, unfortunately there's no South American servers, which I don't understand why, but I'm not going to get into that. But we have our US West and US East. So obviously, you know, if you're in US West, you would pick US West. If you're in US East, pick US East. If you're in Europe, pick Europe. It's pretty self-explanatory, but just go ahead and pick the region that you want to. Now, if you have a friend, obviously, that's in a different region and you want to play with him, and he's in a US West server, obviously, you would pick that. So really what this is you are picking what you want to look for. You want to look for a server that has maybe this particular maps on this particular mode with this many free slots, because you're browsing, you are searching in a sense for a particular server. So it's similar to like if you were to buy a car, you know, I want a red car with a similar engine, with a leather interior, with a manual transmission, and That's exactly what you're doing here, okay? And then if you wanted the free hacker slat, that is the last thing that you can go ahead and pick. If you want that, obviously you would click that on. I don't care about that because I don't really go hacker much unless my team needs it or my squad or something like that's trying to get something unlocked. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. Let me just make sure I didn't change anything here. Yep. Okay, we're all good. And then I'll just go ahead and pick whatever team deathmatch that I wanted. Obviously, you can do whatever game mode it is, but this is going to be the best way, I promise you, to get the best server that you can actually play on is to go ahead and do server browser. Now, you can also do server browser in squad join. So let's say I have some friends here and I want to play with some people and I want to do a squad join. All you do is come into here. You can actually invite people if you press X down at the bottom, or A, I believe would be on Xbox, and then I can go ahead and it will put up my friends list here, and then I can go ahead and pick whoever I want to go ahead and invite to this game. But you also have the ability to do server browser here, okay? So if I go ahead and put L2, boom, there's server browser. It is laid out exactly the same, but the difference is I'm going to go ahead and pick the exact server that we're going to go ahead and get into. Now, one thing with doing server browser that I highly recommend you do is if you're sitting here and looking at the different matches that you can go ahead and jump in, and if you're taking a little bit of time, make sure that you constantly refresh, because these things do change often. So if there's a spot, you know, let's say there's a server with 61 out of 64 players, and you're like, oh, I got a squad with, you know, 2 or 3 people, let's go ahead and jump in there, and then all of a sudden somebody's in queue. Okay, not a huge deal. All right, you might have to wait a little bit. Now, with doing the whole squad join thing, if me and my friends were to go ahead and get into a server, and let's say they were put in a queue, and then when they finally did get in the match, they were on the opposite team, what will end up happening is it will actually automatically switch everybody to the same squad as long as there's slots open in that next match, and then it will go ahead and put everybody on the same squad. So you might not be in the same squad in that particular match, but then the next match, it will go ahead and switch everybody around, so everybody should be on the same team. All right, well, that's pretty much it, guys. This is server browser for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely highly recommend it over doing the quick match option because it does help out a bunch. I mean, you can get a better connection if you're having an issue with your connection when you're playing Battlefield Hardline. Make sure you guys check out the region that you're actually playing in, and then anything else that you want to do in server browser. It's easier way to find a particular match on a particular map and all this stuff, and that way you have a lot more control of your Battlefield Hardline experience. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you guys smack that like button. Also, subscribe for more videos like this. I will be making more videos here soon, so thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.